I know I've given this dude a lot of crap because he sucks, but you know what? I'm not a fan of her either. Let me tell you why. So I reposted a video I made about this dude a year ago because I had to take it down because his little fans, him and his little friends, that's what my mom was saying, were in my comments and reported it so much I had to just take it down. And then I just reposted it just because these two are just the worst. Like the video that this comment is attached to, by the way, this is someone from Bourbon Bougie's team. She makes really great content especially about Springs and City, so go give a follow. So, I talked about how he just baby traps her, seemingly. How, she's always pregnant, and sometimes she's not. Now, he will always be Billy in my little brain, because I watched this show 15 when I was in high school, I think, or maybe middle school. I don't know, but Billy was whatever. Go look up some scenes from this if you are really curious. This is like maybe the worst acted show I've ever seen of teenagers. But you love to hate it, kind of. I really think that this is the love of his life, and more about that in a minute. But honestly, there's so many problems I have with this couple. So, I don't really like him, but I'm not a big fan of hers either. I'm going to get into that in a minute. And I'm really not a fan of the author of this dumb movie, and I'm going to get into that in a minute too. And the reason why I will never watch this movie, and we can talk about this movie without actually making people go watch it, because I do not want to put any more money in this man's pocket. He's already like a billionaire. Why would I want to support this man? Because the way he is marketing this movie makes me want to barf. It's so disrespectful, and it's so like, can you just not be in the spotlight ever, bro? And I'm going to get into this little interview with his mom and his little BFF in a minute. But let's just do some simple math here, okay? Just to hit on the main reasons why I don't really like this couple, or really him, is that he tends to attach himself to very successful women whose careers are about to launch. And Scarlett Johansen got out of it just in time. But let's just look at the age. People are like, like they're making fun of the fact that we call out the age gap. The age gap, it would not be an issue if it was like they just got together. But this man loves to go after early 20-year-olds, 20-something, early 20s. He was in his 30s. Like, mind you, a college-age student is 22, usually. Sometimes I graduated when I was 23. I cannot imagine getting married and popping out babies right after. Look, I know, to each their own. But let's say this. So she's 36 now. He's 47. So if they met in the Green Lantern while he was married, by the way, they alleged that, they're friends for a couple years. But he was married. She was with that Penn dude from Gossip Girls, right? So if she's like 23, I think, when they meet. 23. That's the year I graduated college. Just saying. Not to infantilize 20-year-olds, but remember, I'm sorry, but like a man who is 34 should not, I don't ever think that they should really be hanging out with 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. I mean, we know about anyway, some people are going to disagree, but he went after Scarlett when she was young too. And, I already talked about this in another thing, but basically she's all like, yeah, when you got two actors dating each other, it's kind of hard because you got to share your time. Two people's careers that are going at the same rate. I know you called him a nice guy and all of that, but your career was not going the same rate. Of that in a sec. Even if one person is more successful than the other, that also proves challenging. They may be a competitive thing. She's basically alluded to this man was competitive with her, and he couldn't stand the fact that she was more successful than him. Because mind you, while they were together, Johnson was one of Forbes' highest paid actresses in the final full year of their marriage in 2009, and had earned 3 Golden Globe nominations. And he had just kind of broken out with The Proposal, which I did a movie breakdown of that. I hate that movie so much. And that, like, he just plays himself in everything. He's just the same person. Like, he's not even acting. Or does he have somebody writing his character across the board? Because it's the same person. I mean, even Billy is a lot. Just kidding. I don't remember what Billy was like. Also, if anybody's ever read the lyrics of Alanis Morissette, I mean, he did her so dirty. But I've already covered all this. I want to talk more about this dude. Okay. So he's a billionaire now. It says that his net worth is like, what, 350 million or whatever. Like, that's what it says. But then other things are like, well, yeah, but I mean, he's like, this man basically made his living by selling stuff. Like, are you an actor? Are you he almost like normalized actors just doing an insane amount of commercials, which is what they do over here in Europe all the time. You got like Brad Pitt and Leo and all those dudes, George Clooney, selling coffee and watches and stuff, and they would never do that in the US, but I digress. But this is but he's supposedly a billionaire now, but not because of his acting, good, because you kind of suck at it, but because of what he calls instant publicity. So he basically bought out a digital marketing company and said, in all the companies that I buy, you're going to take everything that's happening in the news and you're going to create ads around it immediately. And everyone's like, wow, he's so rich, follow his example. Don't do that. This dude is so gross. And his hands are all over this new movie about domestic violence. His stupid humor is all over it, and it makes me in a minute. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Like, this dude just buys companies, and then puts his he's like the mascot of all of them. And now he's like BFFs with this Always Sunny dude in Philadelphia dude, and talks about him better than his own wife. Like, I swear to God. Anyway, he's just all about product placement. I swear, if you ever go on any of his pages, which I like to torture myself every once in a while just to remind myself of why I don't like him. He's just like, oh, here's a vodka, here's a cell phone, here's a football team. Oh, not just a football team. I'm going to make my whole personality about me and my BFF owning a person, owning this. It's like he can't just be in the middle of everything. He's always selling himself, but he's like literally Deadpool over and over and over and over and over again. I mean, look, in 2020 alone, he earned $71.5 million. But it's his constant presence. I'm going to give you all a better background to look at. It's his constant presence in everything. Like, her career was kind of like, what are you doing? Oh, sorry, she's busy having endless babies. But then she finally comes out with like a big movie, and his voice is all over it. And then he invites his little friend, and they try to sell it as like, look how supportive of a husband he is. Supportive is one way to look at it. In my mind, being supportive is giving her the spotlight, making sure she's in the spotlight. But him and his little friends take it over. And now it's just all about him and him. And I don't know if this is her doing or his doing, this whole flower crap, or maybe the author's doing, because she has a history of selling nail polish and stuff for her little domestic violence store. Again, I'm going to get to her in a minute. And people are so confused by this photo shoot that Blake Lively did with Hugh Jackman. Why are they together? Like, this is me right here. I just Googled if Hugh Jackman was in this ends with it ends with us because of this photo shoot. Me too. I was like, wait, is he in this movie? I didn't know that. No, this is them. This is Ryan, definitely, and probably her too, being like, I know, let's do Barbenheimer again. Let's like get her movie to get all the women who are doing that, and then let's like loop in her husband and his one of his BFFs. So they'll also go see the Deadpool Wolverine crap, whatever. To me, this is so strategic. I'm sorry, but you cannot Barbenheim. First of all, that was insulting in and of itself. I have done so many videos on Oppenheimer, and I can't go into it again. But a movie about a white man's tragic, hard decision, and they also ruining a town in New Mexico, making another bomb. They just literally screwed that town, the indigenous people there, oh God. So Oppenheimer, and then you could put to Barbie. Like, that matching was so weird, but whatever, it worked. And then now they're like, oh, that worked. Let's do a little flowery domestic violence movie attached to her husband's super whatever movie. Like, what is this? What is this? What is this? Why are they together? God! Oh, there's the pony. There he is. Sorry, Mose. You're always going to take a back seat to Fabio. What is this? And other people have already talked about this, but like Justin Baldoni, if there are sides on this, I don't care if there's drama on this, really, honestly. This man does not seem the type of man who would talk crap about anybody. Maybe he would, but I mean, the stuff that he's talked so much about masculinity, even though I'm still mad at you for putting that Drake Bell dude on your show. Anyway, other than that, he does a lot of work I truly respect. He's one of the first men who started talking so much about masculinity and led the way for a lot of men who are currently doing that work and normalizing that. And even his approach to this domestic violent movie was like all about the victim. That's not what it is now. Okay, before I go on, you gotta look at this. There he is. Fabio, eating grass, hair blown in the wind. So people have been speculating over like, why isn't he on the press tour? Like, what's happening? Why does it seem like he's getting iced? I don't really care all that much, but I don't think he's going to tell his side of the story. And I will always side with him over Ryan or Blake or whatever. We know that Ryan wrote the rooftop scene. And I love this tweet because if I have to theorize, I would say it's probably this. My theory is Baldoni was like, why does Ryan have to fucking be here? And they collectively decided to shut him out. But you know, whatever the story is, I know that Justin, I've seen some interviews with him. And by the way, I had that Men Have No Friends and Women Bear the Burden. I mentioned him in my article. I think his team reached out to me. Like, I don't know. All I know is that he has hard conversations around masculinity and gender and all kinds of things. And I don't agree with everything. Again, like Drake Bell, like, why are you giving that dude a platform? But anyway, in general, he's doing good work. What is Ryan doing? Selling stuff. That's all he does. And now he's made this movie that Baldoni keeps talking. Every time he talks about it, he says really great things about everyone else. He even talks about how he let women have more creative control, especially over intimate scenes. But it's like, I feel like Blake is probably a top tier, like one of the highest levels of pick-me girl. And when you are working with a pick-me, you're going to get, who centers her husband or who husband just has his finger in everything, you're going to get him in your project because he wrote the word. We know he wrote the rooftop scene. Probably other stuff too. But what he did in this interview, this big promo that he put on his own Twitter page is so bleh. So he interviews the guy who ends up like dating his wife's character. So he starts off making this fun of this photo of Blake and, his wife and this dude. And he's talking about this dude's butt. Like, it's like so weird. This is the weirdest promo for a movie about domestic violence I have ever seen. And it's so Ryan Reynolds. Like, do you take anything seriously, bro? Anything at all? Even, women dying? Do you take that seriously? Because it doesn't seem like you care. Now, the movie itself doesn't seem to take itself seriously. I'm getting to that in a minute. Then they go in this rant about ayahuasca versus like META and this whole thing. Like, this whole bit was also stupid. Like, seriously, they do the whole bit about makes fun of Stephen Hawking, makes fun of a disabled man. Their joke. And listen, that he even negs his wife. He's like oh God, it's like the whole interview is like, I'm going to interview the man who was in like intimate scenes with my wife. And I'm going to be like the guy who's like jealous of you and intimidated by you. I'm like going to like grill you because I'm the husband, but I'm also going to nag her. Because look at this guy at one point goes, do you need to take a break from Blake? Sure. What are you doing? Like, even in a movie promoting, it's so bad. Then he's like hugging him. Then he brings his mom on. They're making, like, he's kind of making fun of himself, but the way this man makes fun of himself is so gross. It's so disingenuous. It's not really making fun of himself. He's still like this kid, like, my little gummy bear, Ryan. And they're talking about him losing his dad. Oh, look, y'all, the pony's getting closer. They have the same routine every day. Oops. I have figured out this pony's routine. I swear, animals are creatures. He eats over there. He's going to eat, and then he's going to come over here and eat, and then he's going to go over there and eat more. So predictable, pony. So then this whole bit about how it's hard for him and his dad's death. He comes back out and is like, no, Nathan. And then it's this whole thing. Ryan wants a new dad. Dad or daddy? Just saying. At one point in time, she says, call me Blake. Ew! Like, ew, everything about this is so cringe. Call me Blake. He's like, ew. Like, they're trying to be cringe, but like, there's always, I swear, with men at least, usually, especially, there's always truth to their jokes. Then they bring this dude out. Again, why are you in the promotion of a movie that has nothing to do with you? Is it because you want to secretly be married to Ryan because y'all seem like y'all love each other more than anyone? It's not every day a guy gets to interview the love interest of his best friend's wife. and the guy trying to replace Ryan. So again, this promotion is all about Ryan. Everything in this whole, and this is a long, this wasted 4 minutes of my life, I think. So now this whole movie is about him as his best friend or Ryan. Like all of this is so great. So then the three of them are talking crap about the man who, I get it, it's a joke. It's just so weird because everything is about Ryan. And what's so funny is he is known as like the king of like branding. And look at this. This is hilarious. Ryan Reynolds is becoming the king of movie marketing. Yeah, the worst kind ever. If this makes you the king of movie marketing, which means you just play yourself all the time and you're a sarcastic little prick, and you make a domestic violence story, a movie made for women, all about you and your dumb sense of humor. There goes the pony. He's on the move. Then yeah, okay, maybe you're a master at marketing. It'll probably work. Please don't go see this movie. Please do not go see this movie because this is the kind of advertising that'll get me to watch the movie. Great. Are they gonna go to this movie expecting to see Deadpool? Well, they're gonna get part of it because he was apparently writing parts of this. This is how you promote your wife's new movie. No, it's not. If I ever made a movie and my husband did this to it, I would want a divorce immediately. This is so gross, especially just given how much this man negs her in general, and I've already talked about that too much. Yeah, okay, she gives him crap back, but it's different. I've already covered this. They all think that, that please don't let this be what the new norm, because is this what they're gonna do to every movie about women's issues? So we make a movie about Inchmest. And have Ryan Reynolds promote that one too, because that makes about as much sense. What? So Blake is nowhere in this, and it ends with Ryan's mom, who she says, call me Blake. Again, I know it's a joke, but men's jokes are never jokes. Now, before I blame, I am not here to defend Blake, because I don't know, she does not have the best track record either. She used to have an online wannabe goop little shop boutique called Preserved, romanticized antebellum era. Now, for anybody who doesn't know what antebellum means, like maybe you're not in the U.S., that basically romanticizes slavery. She also plagiarized and sued anyone who brought up that she was fawning over. Yeah, she actually tried to sue people. So Jezebel came after her, and I love it. They were calling out how her dumb platform, her dumb shop, was an ode to antebellum fashion. Her choice to celebrate pre-Civil War, sorry y'all, it's hard for me to read in this light. She got called out by several people. She can't resist the allure of the antebellum period, characterized by beauty and grace. The forced labor, schmegs trafficking, grape, unaliving, oh my God. If this had oh my God. So much to say on this. I don't even know how to get my thoughts right now. So most people know, they had their wedding at a plantation. Honestly, given her background, I'm pretty sure it was her idea. But the fact that he's like, yeah, let's do it. Y'all are this. It's like if you see an old nice house in the South, old, you gotta assume it was part of a plantation. But if you see, this is a known, they look it's one of the oldest working plantation, and then there's sharecrop, whatever. Ugh. This place, I don't know what they do with their money, but all of that should go towards reparations. Nobody should be making money off of this at all. No one should be having weddings at this. Nobody would accept people having weddings at Auschwitz, or you know what I mean? So this is so crazy. They can't even play dumb. They can't be like, oh, we want this beautiful house, and then we found out its history. You can't deny the history when it looks like this. But Blake Lively seems to have, even though she was born in Los Angeles, raised in Los Angeles, it's not like she was like me, who was raised in the South, and the generations, and grew up in literature, textbooks, written lies about the daughters of the Confederacy, the white women who literally changed the books for generations right before mine, including mine. They were still in circulation. So I was learning about the lost cause and states' rights and all this crap when I was in school. I had to leave the state of Tennessee and learn. I was a history major in Montana before I found out all of still don't know all the history, but enough to be oh my God, everything's a lie. So, I was like indoctrinated into this crap. She's got no excuse. She grew up in LA. She's obsessed with antebellum. Why? Look, oh God. Look how it was described on her dumb website. Well, acknowledging the women with an inherent social distinction set the standards for style and appearance. She needs to read the book, They Were Her Property. God! Like, you should not be making mistakes like that in 2014. Now, just a quick history. It's not like she grew up watching Gone with the Wind, like older generation. But look at her saying this out loud. It's crazy to me. The women epitomize Southern hospitality with the cultivation of beauty, grace, but even more with a captivating and magnetic sensibility. While at times depicted as coy, these belles of the ball in actuality could command attention with the ease of a hummingbird. Oh my God. Just read the rest of that. This is what her and her team wrote. Like, I'm glad that Vox was calling them out and several other people called her out, but like, and I also do, people are allowed to make mistakes in terms of learning. I am still learning and growing. There's things that I will say today probably that I will realize 5 days from now or 5 years from now are not right and are ignorant. I do believe in people being able to learn and grow and admit when they're wrong. But I'm going to show you an interview about this. It makes me think she didn't learn anything. Like, this is so wrong. And even when she talks about like what she did wrong, it's like, doesn't sound like she's actually feels bad about what she did, romanticizing one of the most horrific things that has ever happened in our country that has still not really been acknowledged the way it should be. And now they're like banning books that talk about it. No reparations, nothing. Plantation wedding, all that stuff. Like this website, look how she talks about it. In 2015, she shuttered her virtual workshop, once touted as a destination for artisans to sell one-of-a-kind items curated by Blake and her team, but it shut after just 1 year because the site never caught up to its original mission. Behind the scenes stuff, we just couldn't figure out. She said that she described the website's demise as awful. I poured everything I had into that company, and walking away felt like death. Look at this. Furthermore, Blake was hurt by some of the press coverage that seemingly delighted in its closure. In fact, she said it made her doubt herself, her abilities. It was scary. Oh, it was scary. It was scary that you were rightfully criticized for romanticizing a period of time so horrific, but also like literally romanticizing the white women terrorists. They weren't just like, like wearing pretty dresses and being talking like this had no mint juleps. They owned people. They unalived people. They triangulated people. They incited violence. They inflicted violence themselves. And she's like, it was so scary for me to get pushed back for talking about that. But you know who had helped her? Ryan. The person whose opinion I trust more than anyone in the world is the person who's saying to me, you got this, go. Great, so, I get it. Your husband's supposed to support you. But like, you should actually care about other people's opinions about something like this. Y'all, this interview, look at the date. 2023. She's had so many years to think about how wrong this was, and she's like, it was scary. White woman tears, if you don't know what it is, this is a perfect example. I'm the victim of the consequences of my own actions. It was scary for me. So now she's doing other cool stuff like a non-alcoholic sparkling mixers named after her 3-year-old. That sounds like just as dumb. At least it's not racist, I guess. But before she, launched this new one, because, the reason why their old site didn't do well is because we launched before we were ready. Not because what we were doing was so wrong and got pushed back, because we weren't ready. I didn't want to make that same mistake again. The mistake being launching too soon and being not prepared rather than what you were actually selling, which is a lie, a racist fantasy. And then this right here, y'all. God, it's an interesting thing to claim as a woman being detailed and being precise. She mused, because that can be weaponized against you as being difficult. And sometimes it makes you feel something I even know, It's just so hard. It was like death. It was like death. But now that I'm 35 and I understand that being detailed in a woman is an asset, And I should not apologize for that. No one's asking you to apologize for that. Because again, preserve It's a lifestyle website that preserves. The goals are things like supporting the America we've always known and the one we haven't met yet. If you want to know the one you haven't met yet, maybe you should talk to the ancestors of the people who were enslaved. That's who we need to talk to, not like glorifying the iconic, fashionable slave owners that wore pretty dresses. Look at this. It's a site, in other words, that sells $80 t-shirts, $45 jars of sugar, 325 floral teepees for children, authenticity, a fashion collection, the authenticity of a Southern Belle. I don't know if you want to know the authenticity of a Southern Belle, because a Southern Belle is a terrorist. Like, again, anybody who talks about slave owners, the Southern hospitality, beauty, grace, captivating, the magnetic sensibility, embrace the, oh my God. Embrace the season and the magic below of the Mason-Dixon with styles, oh my God. I did not know about any of this until today. So also, she went after people who criticized her for this. So now back to my history lesson. By the way, I can't find the screenshot, but I think when Blake and Ryan apologized for having their wedding at a plantation, they gave, I think, $200,000 to the NAACP, I think. $200,000. That's not enough. Anyway, so anybody who doesn't understand what she's glorifying, it is basically she's glorifying this. And I know that, a little bit of this still is around, this idea of this, Southern Belle, whatever. But the daughters, like the ancestors of those women are still like celebrated today. There's like still like whatever, like they have like the debutante balls and all that stuff. But their ancestors owned people and were terrorists. But anyway, this is just more of this. Gone with the Wind. It was the highest grossing film at that point. And you adjust it for inflation. It is still the highest grossing film in history. It has been highly criticized for just being racist. Lost cause crap. I'm not going to read this quote, but Birth of a Nation was one of the most impactful, literally one of the most racist movies of all time, and did so much harm, right? And Gone with the Wind, this like romanticizing of this antebellum period was just as harmful. Birth of a Nation was, they call it a frontal attack. Gone with the Wind is like a rear attack. It's still the same. Oh, look at this. Everybody was happy. Happy. Let's root for the terrorists. At the time, half of the population of the United States saw that movie. And again, this is the most successful film in history. This movie did more damage. And again, if this, I'm just giving a little historical context. And, Hattie McDaniel couldn't even sit with her co-stars because of segregation. And sorry for the detour, but I know a lot of people follow me from outside the U.S. And seriously, this is like somebody being like, I wish we could, let's talk about the fashion of like the female Nazis. Or, Leopold. Let's talk about the fashion of all of the people who, like the genocide of the, all the Native Americans. Let's talk about the fashion of them. Like those women had grit. Or not grit. Those women had grace, Like, what are you talking about, Blake? Ugh. So given that context and her seeming in 2023 still not really understanding that the biggest problem of her old website, and then also like having a wedding at a plantation, that in of itself makes me not like her very much. And I don't say this as me trying to other, by the way. All white women are on our own journey to unpack this stuff. And a lot of the lies we've been told, we have to unlearn. That's on us. But if I got called out for publicly by the entire internet for having a wedding at a plantation, I probably would do a lot to educate myself about a lot more. But given that interview, I'm not convinced that she's learned anything. But okay, let's move on and get back to the movie and how Blake Lively was involved in every aspect of this film. And I will not watch this film, but everything that I've seen about the film and all of the criticisms I've heard about the book is that it's like bubbly, like happy, Like, the genres don't make sense. And you know what? Like, there is a way, and I do this as a writer and a storyteller, of talking about trauma and talking about really hard things. And there is a way to infuse humor, and you have to make some of it you have to make it digestible. No one's gonna read a book or listen to a story where you're just like, grape, 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 grape. You have to make it a compelling, interesting story where you're the subtext, and you have these moments where you just punch them in the gut, and then you make them laugh. The way that it's done in this book sounds terrible. And the author herself seems to be on board with this crap. By the way, I spoke too soon. The pony has changed his plan today. Probably doesn't want to be anywhere near me. He's kind of a jerk. I think I told you all that. He's also teaching me a lot about boundaries, so I respect that. Anyways, the book itself already apparently writes about domestic violence in such a bizarre way, but it's this stuff. This is like Ryan, this is probably why Ryan Reynolds was like attached to this. He was like, oh, sell stuff based on a movie? I know, this, like, yes. Like, imagine, like, by the way, there have been plenty of domestic violence stories made, did very well. They were not doing this. And you know what's also a little frustrating? For those of you who don't know, I spent like a year and a half, I think, at least a year, but it was like a lot of back and forth and waiting too, writing a Bible for a TV series. If you don't know what that is, just Google it. Basically planned out the whole show, like endless Zoom meetings with a TV writer in LA, a friend of mine who writes on shows, and she knows my story, and she's like, let's pitch this. We spent so long pitching this story, took meetings with like, I think 3 different production companies, like big, you know, and they all loved it. And then at the end of the day, they didn't buy it because there's too many domestic violence stories out there. So the fact that this is one of them, where they're selling nail polish, and what else is in that photo? Is it like candles, like whatever? Like the fact that they are like this sounds like the worst domestic violence story. So maybe this is me being petty or bitter or jealous or whatever. In the end, as an artist, I always believe that rejection is protection. But I'm sorry, if I ever sold a show, a story, a movie or TV series about my real life story, based on my real life story, like this woman did, you would never see me doing this. Like, what is this? Like, she literally collaborated and did all this. Book-themed nail polish collection. Domestic violence-themed nail polish collection. This is like something that Ryan Reynolds would do. Which is why I think he's kind of perfect for this movie. But I feel bad for Justin Baldoni, because did he realize who he was working with? I don't think he realized who he was working with. Look at this. This woman also sold coloring books. She got called out for that. Like, what are you doing, lady? So she has to apologize for her coloring books. Like, this is like an SNL skit. Like, how can this be real? So Rolling Stone magazine has already come out with this article I read last night. How do you market a domestic violence movie? Not like it ends with us. Like, they're like, this is literally the worst way you could ever do this. So thank God somebody's calling out. Like, when I read about, like, just look at this. And her best-selling, the main character, Lily Blossom Bloom, is certain. Her name is ridiculous. And then her dream is to open a flower shop. Like, the premise of it is like, she's never gonna get in a domestic, like, premise. I can't go through this. Can't read this whole thing. But basically they're like, okay, so all this stuff, it's like they just give examples of how ridiculous this book is. And this now makes sense why all of the marketing is about flowers, and she's wearing these stupid flower dresses. So they're talking about, there's been promotional material about Lively as the next great movie star. Shiny trailers have included pop star Taylor Swift ballad. There's this, look at this. There was even a Century City, which is in LA, mall pop-up experience for fans, recreating Lily Cookie's flower shop as a photo op. Like, what? So the author is a little problematic on her own, but she sold more. Her book sold more than the Bible in 2022. Honestly, that to me is really good news. It means a lot of people bought her book. That means less people are buying the Bible. Sorry if that offends you. I mean, it's like, this movie is to help survivors leave abusive relationships. Right? How? By finding their high school boyfriend? Like, even the premise of this movie, I'm like, what? And they were also called out for Justin being like the abusive man, you know, especially because it's like, oh, a white guy comes in as the good guy to save her from him. Like, anyway, whatever. But, Justin is the director and, starring. So I'm assuming that he's okay with this decision or like whatever. But but the premise of like her, like, I don't want to see a domestic violence story about a woman getting out of a bad relationship and it has to end with a man saving her. Like, what? Like, this is some other stuff that they've been doing to promote. The dark themes of the books have been glossed over in favor of fan-friendly pop-ups and activations like photo calls, virtual commemorative bouquets, and scavenger hunts. And this is so insulting to survivors. Lively's promotion of the film has been dominated by Lily Bloom themed fashion. Like, this is Ryan. There's also like a shocking amount of cross promotion with the summer blockbuster Deadpool and Wolverine, which happens both and writer of ends of us. Why? Again, why are they being like, y'all are literally trying to do Barbenheimer, but you're trying to do it with a domestic violence movie? Like, again, this makes even less sense than Barbie Oppenheimer in a weird way, but is just as bad. It's just a really funny tweet I want to point out. It keeps getting confused between It Ends With Us, The Last of Us, and This Is But so many people are like, please don't let this movie do well. And I'm one of them. And I agree with this. Whatever's going on with the It Ends With Us cast, I'm on Justin Baldoni's side. Every interview I've seen him talking about what the book is actually about with care and awareness. And everyone else seems to be ignoring the actual context of what the movie is. Oh, and then this, I don't know if you saw, I haven't looked this up, but just interesting if it's true. Her son harassed the girl on Snapchat and when told the evidence, she blocked her. I don't know if that's true. I don't know. But yeah, so Blake Lively's talked about how, he writes everything. He has a part in everything she does and she has a part in everything he does, but I'm not so sure because when he bought that when he bought that soccer team with his new BFF, sounds like, if I remember, like he didn't even talk to her about that. So she may be involved in trying to promote her non-alcoholic beverage there or whatever. But like, this dude seems like he just does what he wants. And then, he's like, okay, it's your time to shine, but my voice, my fingerprints are going to be all over all of it. And of course it's ruining it. I don't know if he purposely is self-sabotaging this or if he's just like so not self-aware that he's like, I'm just going to like insert myself all over this. But this right here, Blake Lively forgetting her character is a victim of domestic abuse, instead trying to give the entire press run a silly, goofy Barbie moment, while Justin Baldoni is using his press time to talk about the importance of stopping the cycle of abuse, is why I'm always on his side, and me too. Also, people are like, yeah, but she's been an activist against all this stuff. She also works with Woody Allen. This is the tweet I wanted to show y'all. Justin Baldoni had the best intentions to bring advocacy to TV, but unfortunately picked the most pick-me girl to ever exist to produce that film, who allowed her husband to bulldoze the PR and writing. This is what I think happened right here. Could be wrong, and I'm going to end on this one. Ryan Reynolds' wife and husband in the same frame. Again, I could be wrong about some of this. I hope I'm wrong about some of this. But I really hope we just don't worship celebrities. Don't worship me. I'm going to make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. What I don't like is like unbelievably rich people doing so much and just continuing to be able to do stuff. And even when they're called out, like they don't change, And then a story this delicate, this could have been, well, I mean, I don't know why they adapted this movie to begin with. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place, but I had so much to say. Let me know what y'all think. Let me know if you heard the comment song. Please follow my Patreon if you're not already. You can see all my lives over there. They will be published later on, like edited versions, but the full thing's over there. Cecilia Regina, just 2 days ago. Travel, personal stories, behind the scenes creativity stuff, all kinds of stuff. And if nothing else, just to get notified about my work in case the algorithm doesn't remind you I exist. Anyway, let me know what you think of the comment song. Pony is here. Pony eating sticks with those big old teeth. I don't remember how this Pink Floyd song goes, but I'm just improvising for the comment song like I do every day. If you're new here and worried what the hell is going on with this Pony and Bat singing, let me tell you, I'm just messing around. Pony, you look like Fabio. How do I get hair like that pony? Please comment while you have time, 'cause this is ending soon, and I hope you have something to say. That's not how the song goes, but I don't care. That's not the point of the video. Party! Pony, pony, pony! Pony, pony, 3, 2, 1. The pony song that's Pink Floyd, but also not, is ending now. Actually, it's not. You got a little more time. I underestimated this. Pony! There's some still shots. Look at this, my favorite one. Favorite pony, pony, pony. But you're kind of a dick. Anyway, this comment song is ending now. Better tap, or pause it so you can write something to say. Thank you. Et voila. Let me know if you heard this. Bye!